Que diga lo que diga, yo soy libre de pensar, porque siento que es la hora de ganar la libertad. Hasta cuando ya de abusos es el tiempo de cambiar, porque basta de miseria, voy a decir que no.
Porque nace el arco iris después de la tempestad, porque quiero que florezcan mis maneras de pensar, porque sin la dictadura la alegría va a llegar, porque pienso en el futuro, voy a decir que no.
Vamos a decir que no, oh.
Con la fuerza de mi voz.
Vamos a decir que no, oh.
Yo lo canto sin temor.
Vamos a decir que no, oh.
Todos juntos a triunfar.
Vamos a decir que no.
Por la vida y por la paz.
Terminemos con la muerte. Es la hora.
Så vi er derude på det blå hav igen med Return of Polo. Velkommen til. Lige nu befinder vi os her på sejlads mellem Fiji og Samoa i den vestlige del af det sydlige Stillehav. Vi er langt væk fra Europa, faktisk lige så langt som man overhovedet kan komme. Vi befinder os lige nu på den 180. 20. meridian, det vil sige lige akkurat på den modsatte side af nulmeridianen. Det er den, der går igennem blandt andet Greenwich i London og ned gennem Vesteuropa. Men filmen her når frem til seere i Europa alligevel. Og lad os lige kigge lidt tilbage. Fordi i den her film, der skal vi se på nogle af de ting, der kendetegner livet her i Stillehavet. I sidste uge besøgte vi landsbyen Briketti på den lille ø Ngamea i Fiji. Vi mødte en Brikettis befolkning. Det er folk med oprindelse både i den melanesiske og den polynesiske kultur. En ting, der er fælles for hele det sydlige Stillehav, er ledelsesstrukturen. Fra påskeøen til Fiji har vi mødt landsbyledelse og et såkaldt chiefly system. Det vil sige et system, hvor titlen som landsbyens eller områdets chief udgør den øverste myndighed i området. Vi talte med en bully om dette system.
Can you explain about the chief system? You have a chief in this village. Is there a chief in other villages also?
Yes, there are chiefs within the other villages as well. Especially his title is the Tulaudala, and he's the chief within the Tikina, within the district, the whole district of Laudala Tikina. That comprises of 5 villages, and he's the boss of all the chiefs.
And how did he become the boss? Was he elected or what? How did he become the boss or the chief?
In the Fijian way of that's in the Fijian administration. We have got all our records, the native lands records.
Yes.
And in that office, they know every individual,
Yeah.
every Fijian who comes first.
I see.
Yeah.
So this was it was through the family. He was a chief.
That's right.
It's a family title.
Family title. Yeah.
So his son will be the next.
When the chief passes away, his brother, it'll go to his brother.
I see. That's the system.
That's the system. When if he hasn't got any brother, it'll go to his son or his daughter.
Yes.
That's the system we have in the Fijian way of life.
So you say that the Fijian leaders, they reshuffled the whole system. And why was that? Why did they do that?
Because they found that the system that they used to live before, and the new generation, they brought in few things that that wasn't our way of life. That's why I told you that there seems to clash.
Yes. And what kind of things, for example, were brought in which you didn't like?
Liquor, to name a few, because within the village nobody can come along and shout while he's drunk.
I see.
But in urban areas you can do whatever you like.
Yes.
But within the village, within the while staying in the village, if you are Fijian, you can't do that.
No.
Yeah. Because you have to respect your village.
Yes. Og det samme fortalte Geoffrey Henry, premierminister i det parlamentariske system i Cook Islands. Vi spurgte Henry, hvordan det parlamentariske system, de har med valg og så videre, hvordan det fungerer sammen med det gamle chief system.
Yes, well, we do indeed have two power structures in the country. We have one that is the political power structure founded upon our inheritance from Britain and from New Zealand. It's a political structure founded upon the Westminster parliamentary system, where people are elected, and anyone can be elected. Anyone can be a prime minister, and he can be a cleaner one day and the prime minister the next day, and he can be the janitor one afternoon and the prime minister the following day, if it were the wish of the people. Now, that's a system that has been going in this country since 1965. Prior to that, and for hundreds of years prior to that, and even up to today, we have a political structure of our own that is endemic, that is indigenous to our country, in fact to the whole of Polynesia. We have tribal structures with chiefs having sole right over, in the old days, life and property. They had total control. But to be a chief, you had to be a very strong person. You had to be a warrior. You had to defend your title against all forms of challenges from other tribes and even from those from within your tribe. But we did have a structure of the chief, the sub-chiefs, and the ranks of his family. And it's a very rigid, almost feudalistic structure that held control of these islands for all these years. Where they're most powerful is their control over the people in their tribes. Now, if those chiefs, for example, chose to work against a member of parliament, that member of parliament can become terribly ineffective, and he can count the days when his parliamentary days would end. Now, that's where the chiefs are most powerful. They exert their control through this way, so that in fact the members of parliament end up in parliament echoing the wishes of the chiefs.
Yes.
That's where their power base is. The chiefs are elected by immediate families. You know, the tribe has no say over that. It never has. A chief is elected by that family who for several years inherited within the family the title from generation to generation. They alone elects the chief. But once elected, he becomes the head of the whole tribe and has strong control over the tribe. In the outer islands, extremely powerful. Rarotonga has become a lot more cosmopolitan. Yeah. And our contact with Western civilization has been much more intricate than has been the case in the outer islands. People here, especially the young ones, aren't quite so mindful nor so respectful of the traditional structure, and probably don't pay as much respect to the chiefs. But when meetings are called, when important functions are about to be held, and the tribe is called to partake or participate, you see the power of the chiefs on those occasions.
I hele Stillehavet spiller musik, sang og dans en meget stor rolle for bevaringen af kultur, sprog og sammenhold. Vi har set det mange gange, og også vist det her i programmet. Også i Fiji finder vi den traditionelle dans og sang. Her hedder det Meke. Vores kamera fangede disse billeder i Doiketi Village.
Okay, now we have seen this Mecke, which is very nice. The first one you made, what was that about?
It is about the place we are living here in the Mecca. It's about our island, which is Laudala. Yeah.
So you are explaining about Laudala Island and about the place here you live?
Yeah, it's in Mecca too.
Is it from the old times?
Yeah, it is about from the old times.
This Mecca dancing, when did you start to dance or to do the Mecca?
Just when some visitors came to our village, we used to perform our Mecca just to make them happy.
Okay, it works fine because now we are very happy we have seen the Mecca. It's very nice. And do the children also make Mecca?
I'm the first time to do the Mecca when I was in class 6. I was in primary school. So it's the first time I do this Mecca.
I see. When you have celebration in the village, you also make Mecca?
I also make Mecca. Any Fijian activities. we did the make. Or we make something about our church. We have to do the make. We are entertainment.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alle husene i en briketti er få år gamle, bygget af krydsfiner, efter at en orkan raserede landsbyen totalt. Rundt i hele denne del af Stillehavet lever befolkningen med truslen om at blive ramt af en orkan i årets varme tid. Det er den tid, vi har vinter i Europa. Mange af øerne er lave atoller, hvor bølgerne kan skylle helt hen over landet. Men også her i Briketti ødelagde orkanen altså alt. På Palmerston Island fortalte Reverend Billy Masters os om den store orkan i 1926.
On the 31st day of March 1926, it was a beautiful day. The wind was light and blowing from the northeast, and the men, the fishermen, went out fishing. They made a good catch, and they were back about 12 o'clock. While they were cleaning their fish on the beach, my grandfather, William Masters II, was not happy about the weather. And he kept his eye on the barometer. There was a kind of heat in the air that indicated there was a storm coming up. And he took his barometer, and the barometer just swooped over, straight over. From number 9, it went down to number 5. So he hurried down to the beach and told the men, come on, hurry up. There's going to be a hurricane. Beautiful day, the men say, the sun's shining, it's lovely. He says, but my barometer tells me there's going to be a severe hurricane. Right at the same time, the wind moved off to the northwest, to the northwest. And the whole sky on the northwest side turned purple. You know, slightly, and then was dark purple. And the ocean started to build up. Within 50 minutes of the time he spoke to the men, the waves were hitting the beach, hitting the sand on the beach, about 20 feet high. The men have all started to run up, see their belongings. They couldn't take their fish, they couldn't take their boats, they just dropped everything and tried to get to their families. But before they could get to their families, the waves were coming over the other end of the island, rushing over the other end of the island, hitting the beach about 60 feet and rushing over the island. Where the old church is now, the waves were coming there about 12 feet high and taking with it everything, buildings, boats, and personal belongings, and everything. I was at that time 3 years of age. All I can remember is I was holding on to my aunt's hand, and she was running with me inland. I was not really affected by the severeness of the hurricane. But as time went on, I looked back into the past. I could feel the danger that the people have experienced during this time of the hurricane. The people lost everything but the clothes on their body. Everything. Nothing left. The whole settlement was devastated, with the exception of one building, and that's the building that was built by my great-grandfather, William Masters I, with lumber that he salvaged from the wrecks. The waves went right over the top of that building, but the building stood its ground. And the church was newly built. The church was built in 1916, and that was taken away from its position 200 yards inland. At the end of the church, there's a water tank, a concrete-made water tank, about 10,000 gallons. Now, the first thing the people thought, we need water, fresh water. And what they did, the first job they did after the hurricane, they got coconut tree logs and rolled the church back into its position inch by inch. The church is 40 feet long by 20 feet wide by 30 feet high. And the men had to do this manually, inch by inch, until they got the church back into position. They repaired the roof, and there we had fresh water again. But to live, we didn't have houses to live in. We lost everything.
But where did the people hide then?
Well, the people had to run inland as far as they can, away from the wave. The fortunate part of it, the hurricane came from one side of the island. The other side of the island was calm.
Oh.
There was no waves up the other side of the island. Although it's a small land,
Yes.
the hurricane have come 12 feet above the center of the island in the settlement, but the other side of the island, there was no waves. And the people ran in. Now, one of the fortunate things about this is that we had this taro swamp in the middle of the island. And most of the force of the wave was absorbed by the swamp. And it didn't climb over the bank of the swamp. And that's where we were.
Oh.
Only about 20 feet on the other side, behind the little man-made hills. And that's where we were. We survived there. 10 o'clock, everything was calm again, and the people came back into the settlement. But there was no more home, there was no more belongings, there was nothing. Now, how could we survive? We had to survive somehow. We couldn't call out to people across the ocean for help. We couldn't, because there was no means of doing that at that time. The same with the hurricane of 1935. We had that for 4 days. 2 days the wind blew strong from the southeast, and there was a lull on the night of the second day. It means that we were in the center of the hurricane for about 4 to 5 hours. Then the wind started to blow from the northwest, and it was as strong as the time before. It lasted for another 2 days. Then after that, it subsided, and the coconut trees were completely damaged. We lost 99% of our coconut plantations. 99%. And the worst part of it, it took about 18 to 24 months before the coconut trees could grow again, to produce again. We had to climb up every coconut tree and clear the sprout to give it a chance to grow. But some of them did grow, some of them died. But again, the lucky part of the people on this island was there's always plenty of fish on this island.
Yes.
We lived on fish. Day in, day out was fish. Nothing else but fish. After the hurricane, we had a ship visit us from Rarotonga. Another ship from New Zealand visited us with food supply that lasted only about 2 weeks each. And for 3 years after that, we didn't have a visit from any other boat. 3 years.
It's a long time.
And we had to live. But I can say this to you. There was never a happier time I found the people on this island than that 3 years. Everybody pulled themselves together, assisting each other, sharing whatever they get. And it was the most happy period of the history of this island as far as I'm concerned, as far as I saw it. The people were very happy and they shared everything they obtained. Now, that's the 2 hurricanes. We had to make spears to catch our fish.
Yes.
We lost our knives, we lost our tools to build canoes. What we had to do after the first and second hurricane, both, we had to walk across the reef, right around to where the shipwrecks were, on that side of the reef of the island. And there collect some pieces of steel suitable to make spears to catch fish and to make adze and other tools so that we could build our dugout canoes. And we had to walk all the way back here. Now then, coming back here, we didn't have a forge to forge our steel to make our spears. What we did, use the wind. The women would make a mat and we put it on a frame, tie it on a frame, stand it up on the beach with a little hole down the bottom in the middle and the fire behind that, and that's the forge. And we heat the steel in there and beat the steel to make our spears. And that's how we live, to make our knives, to make our tools. That's how we lived. And then we started to fell big trees inland to build our canoes with the little tools we have got. Then we had to go down on the beach, on that end of the island, and dig in the sand on the beach, hoping to find some tools that might be buried there. Yes, we did find tools buried on the beach, like axe and adze and whatnot. Hammers, we found those on the beach. And therefore we were lucky to have some more tools. But for clothes, we lost our clothes.
How long did it take before you were resettled again?
Well, it took us, really. In the first hurricane, it took us at least 5 years. At least 5 years to get ourselves resettled properly again. We had to use every means within our reach. Say, for instance, to build houses, we had to use the coconut frond to build houses.
Yes.
We had to use any means of rope to bind the timber together because we didn't have nails. We had to use any steel we could find to make hooks. We had to make our own hooks. We had to, when the coconut tree started to produce, we had to use the cinnet, that's the coconut fiber, for our lines, for fishing. And that's how we lived.
Det var så, hvad vi havde at byde på i dag. Vi sejler lige nu i det område, hvor orkanerne de kan opstå, men vi holder grundigt øje med dem, og der har ikke været noget endnu. Vi ses i næste uge, der kommer vi til Samoa, og der skal vi høre mere derfra. Tak for den gang.
terminemos con la muerte, es la hora.